In my search for Bitcoin cloud miners, I found a real mixed bag of good, bad, and ugly. But at this point, I've done enough research on these apps that I can show you which ones are worth and aren't worth your time. And to start, we'll go with the bottom tier, which I'll call the trash tier. And the point of showing this is if you see one of these apps in an ad, you'll know it's not worth your time and to just skip it. The D tier is going to be apps that do pay out, but either it's not a high payout or the withdrawal fee is going to eat up a lot of your rewards. The C tier are apps that don't have my full trust, or they have a flaw that's holding them back from being a higher tier app, but look pretty decent on the surface. The B tier is for apps that I generally do trust, but probably aren't backed by Bitcoin ASICs miners. And usually you'll see these apps for the best free investment options. The A tier apps are apps that I think you should absolutely check out if you're interested in investing in Bitcoin cloud mining. And then finally, the S tier is saved for the #1 Bitcoin cloud miner on the market currently, in my opinion. And I will have all of these videos timestamped, so if one of these does come up, you can always come back to reference it. Should be pretty easy to find. The first video I'll be covering is Bitcoin Miner Earn Bitcoin. Now, you can see the reviews are awful with the 2.1 rating, but the real kicker is that the minimum withdrawal is 2.5 Bitcoin. We're talking about over $250,000. So with that said, Bitcoin Miner Earn Bitcoin, you're going in the trash. Next is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and SHIB Faucets. And on the surface, it actually is pretty decent. The faucet gives you a good amount of Bitcoin, but when you find out with the withdrawal minimums, you know this is just a complete waste of time. Which means the Bitcoin faucet app is going right in the trash. Next is Bitix Cloud Mining. Now you can see that there's no reviews, and when I went into the app, I actually noticed that there was nowhere to withdraw. Obviously a complete waste of time. So we're going to throw this app in the trash as fast as we picked it up. Next is Bitcoin Cloud Mining. So the reviews look good, but I went in and it looked like it was just a lot of bots. And the big problem with this is it takes 100,000 Satoshis to withdraw, which is over $100, which is just too much to trust with an app like this. So there's a chance that this one might be okay, but with so many better options out there, I'm throwing this in the trash. Next is Hashbloom Miner Cloud Mining. With no reviews and a half a Bitcoin minimum withdrawal, this is obviously a waste of time. And this was another easy one to just toss in the trash. Standardhash has no reviews and wouldn't even send me a confirmation email to try out the app. Obviously a waste of time. So that's another easy one to just toss in the trash. HydroMiner has terrible reviews, and as you can see, it has a half a Bitcoin minimum withdrawal. Nobody's going to realistically hit that. Don't even waste your time, which makes this easy to throw in the trash. Bitcoin Mine Earn Crypto Coin has terrible reviews that scream scam, and the minimum withdrawal is just under 1 full Bitcoin, obviously a waste of your time. And another easy app to toss in the trash. Bitstack Lite Mini Miner Farm, according to the reviews, your miners will stop randomly, so unless you're watching the app all the time, you won't be earning. In my opinion, a huge waste of time and a hassle I don't want to deal with. And another easy app to toss in the trash. GigaMiner Bitcoin Mining, the reviews aren't too bad, and the support actually responds to the reviews, so there is a chance that this works, but it has just such a high withdrawal minimum that it's just not worth my time in my opinion. Which makes it pretty easy for me to throw GigaMiner in the trash. Next is BTC Cloud Mining Pro. No relation, I promise. But just like the last app, it has okay reviews, the support replies to bad reviews, but the withdrawal minimum is just too high to be worth my time. So again, this was pretty easy for me to throw in the trash. BTC Cloud Mining Bitcoin Miner is one of those apps with 0 reviews and no way to withdraw. Don't even waste your time, just a complete scam. And that obviously makes this really easy to throw this into the trash. BTC Cloud Mining Crypto Miner has decent reviews on the surface, but if you look at it, it's mostly bots, and the ones that do actually have reviews tend to be negative. The minimum withdrawal is 0.1 BTC, which is obviously just a waste of time, which makes this pretty easy to toss into the trash. Next up is Minersy Crypto Bitcoin Mining. Now, the main problem with this app is every 30 minutes you have to refresh it. I couldn't imagine having to go into an app 20, 30 plus times a day just to keep it rolling. Complete waste of your time. And that makes Minersy easy to throw into the trash. Next is TapMining. I was actually thinking about breaking down this app. It seemed pretty legit. It gave me one withdrawal, but then they just deleted my account. So not much trust there, right? And if you're going to delete my account, I'm probably going to throw you in the trash. So now that we have the trash out of the way, from here on out, all of these apps are apps that I actually use or people from my Discord community use with some success. And you can see that I've broken all of these apps down into 6 categories. And they're going to be from a 0 to 10 scale. So investment options are pretty straightforward. Do I think this is worth investing in or not? The free options are generally going to be a faucet or clicking an ad to receive a reward. And that'll be broken down 0 to 10 as well. The withdrawals will be based on how fast you get your Bitcoin or your crypto, if there's a fee, if there's any hassle basically. Accessibility can mean that it favors some countries over others. It may not even work in other countries, whether if it's just a website, if it's just on Android, or if it's on everything. Trust is obviously subjective, but if you have a community or you're talking to me in emails, which some of the owners of these apps do, I'm probably more likely to trust you than not. And on the flip side, a lot of these apps have had negative updates over time, so it's hard to trust those, right? And I'll give a rating on that as well. And last, and probably the most important, is whether these apps are actually running behind real Bitcoin ASICs miners. If they are, you know it's transparent, it's real, and it's not just a Ponzi scheme. And some of these apps do prove that they use real ASICs miners, but most of them don't, and I think it's important to show that. And if you've been liking this video so far, please like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Bitcoin mining is the reason I started this channel back in January. When it first came out, it had great rates, 0 withdrawal fee, and a responsive support team. Unfortunately, this app has regressed over time. The rewards you can buy are now cut in half, and you're forced to watch 10 ads a day to keep up your mining power. And if you decide you don't want to watch those ads, you'll lose 1% of your mining power every day until it just stops mining overall. And to make things worse, they came up with this bogus KYC thing for their higher investors, me included, where we put our information in and we would automatically fail. And while it does have the same 0 fees for withdrawals, which are really good, it's hard to trust or, promote this to anybody to invest into. And you can earn about 10 sats a day from watching 30 ads, which isn't great, but is also not the worst on the market. And the fact that you only need about 2 days of watching ads to be able to withdraw that for free makes it viable for some, for sure. So for investment options, I have it at a 3 out of 10. And it's because, the investment rewards were cut in half and you have to watch those ads just to maintain it. I wouldn't recommend doing this. And while the free options are below average in my opinion, they are consistent and you can rely on them. And like I said, it takes about 2 days to be able to withdraw it. Not too bad. And the reason this app is going to be rated as decently as it is because of the withdrawals. It's on the Lightning Network. You can send it to your Speed wallet, your Coinbase, your ZBD wallet, 0 fees. Really quick too. And I have accessibility at an 8 out of 10. This is on Google Play as well as the Apple App Store. But I took it down a couple points because of that KYC thing. If I can't get into it, it's obviously not a 10 out of 10 accessibility. And as far as trust goes, I have that as a 3 out of 10. There's just been mostly negative updates. This offset ads were a big hassle. I'm glad I don't have to do them anymore. But I don't see this going anywhere positive going forward. So 3 out of 10 it is. And they're obviously not running real ASICs. You get 51.8 sats per day per terahash per second. And on a real A6 Bitcoin miner, the Bitcoin mining difficulty won't even reach 50. So it's not real. But with that said, there are worse options out there. And I think it is firmly in the C tier in my opinion. BTC Cloud Miner is an orange clone of the Bitcoin mining app. It has the same statistics as an app I've covered earlier called BTCCoin, which I'll cover later in this video. And I've only been using this app for a little while, so the trust is low so far. But it's been paying out decently, has some decent promotions. It has daily tasks, progress tasks, and it seems like it has some potential. And in my opinion, it would be incredibly risky to invest much into this, but it has no withdrawal fees, and with that alone makes this not trash. In my opinion, this is one to look forward in the future to see if it's still around, if there's any negative updates, but so far so good. For investment options, I gave it a 5 out of 10. This is about as average as it gets. We don't know how long the app is going to last, but at about 36 sats per day per terahash per second, with the current buy one get one deal they have, it does pay out pretty decently. The free options really aren't that great though in my opinion. If you're just a free user and watch all 10 ads, you'll get a little less than 2 sats a day. But if you're willing to stick with that, or if you do purchase it, there's no withdrawal fees and has a minimum withdrawal of 20, really low. And unless there's some restrictions that I don't know about so far, it seems like this would be a 10 out of 10. As far as accessibility goes, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10 because you can only get it on Android. I know a lot of people can get it on BlueStacks, on Google Play, but if you're only on one platform, I don't consider that more than average accessibility. As far as trust, I gave it a 3 out of 10 because it's just so new. We don't know if this is going away anytime soon. We'll just give it some time and maybe it can build up some trust. But it is pretty safe to say that this isn't running on real ASICs. They're probably getting a lot of money from their ads and the investors. And we just hope this can stay around for a while so the people who do invest can make their money back. And I feel pretty safe putting this app into the C tier. It's pretty much average at best, but it does have that really good withdrawal function. I've actually been using BitTycoon for quite a few months right now. And while it does withdraw, the withdrawal fees make it so you have to watch about 2.5 months worth of ads just to pay for the withdrawal fee. And the investment options are even worse. You're just straight up better off buying Bitcoin. Whatever you invest into this, you will not get the same amount of Bitcoin back, like I said, if you just bought it outright. Now, if you're somebody who wants as many apps to stack as many sats as possible, then this is definitely an option. But for most people, I would just ignore this. And there's also a copycat app called BTC Lite. It's the same thing, it just has more ads, and I would avoid that completely. So that's why I have my investment options at 2 of 10. It's pretty lousy. I wouldn't just completely ignore investing into this. And I had the free options at 5 out of 10. And I know I said that it's not that great, but that's more of the withdrawal side. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10 because you do get about 1 sat per ad watch approximately, which could be a lot worse. And if you're willing to watch ads and not withdraw for a long time, the withdrawal percentage effectively gets lesser and lesser over time. And as far as withdrawals, I gave it a 3 out of 10. It did work to my Trust wallet. I tried it to a Binance account. Maybe it's because I'm in the United States, it didn't work. But it definitely takes a few days. You don't know if it's going to come through. But it does work at the end of the day. And as far as accessibility goes, you can get it on the Google Play Store as well as the Apple App Store. It's one of the first apps of this kind to come out. So there's a lot of videos on it from people. You can see Reddit posts, etc., etc. And as far as trust goes, I'm only giving it a 5 out of 10. I do trust it to stick around for a while. It's making money, obviously, because it's not giving the money it would be for investors. But the thing about it is there's these Tycoon points. And since I've had it, they said they're going to have an update that's going to let you use it to buy crypto, etc., etc. But there's been none of that, and I don't expect it at this point. And obviously, it's not running real ASICs, or we'd be making a lot more Bitcoin. So for BitTycoon and BTC Lite, I'm going to put it in the D tier. I honestly wouldn't waste your time unless you just want another app to stack some sats. While Bitcoin may not be worth as much as it used to be, just having to click it once a day, watching one ad, and getting a little bit of free crypto has been worth it to me in my opinion. Now going through the KYC process was a bit of a hassle, but you can see that I have almost 90 Pi right now, and it's just been clicking that one ad a day. Now, since it's not Bitcoin or a major altcoin, I can't rate it too high, but if you don't mind watching the one ad a day, like I said, this could be worth your time. I gave it a 0 out of 10 for investment options because you can invest in it. I think you might be able to buy some on an exchange, but this is just for free users. And I gave the free options a 5 out of 10. Like I said before, this isn't a major crypto coin or Bitcoin, So I think the ceiling is capped at 5 for this. Now, as far as withdrawals go, I'm pretty sure there's no scam or any problem with this. But how I have it locked up. You can see I get a 193% boost. Gives me some more Paycoin. And I don't really care about selling it right now. So when it does come, I'll show it then. And as far as accessibility goes, you can find it on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Pretty much as easy as it gets. And as far as trust, I gave it a 5 out of 10 again. I don't see this going anywhere anytime soon. It does seem to be like a full project, but I haven't withdrawn anything yet personally or put it in another wallet besides this app, so I can't give it more than a 5. And obviously, since we're not getting Bitcoin, this isn't real ASICs. That should be pretty straightforward, right? And so just because this is so easy, there's no investment or risk, I'm going to put it in the C tier. I don't see this going any higher than this in the future, but I also probably don't see it going any lower unless the price of the Paycoin just completely tanks. I started using Surfmine about a month and a half ago due to a lot of people asking me to try it out. You do get a free 3 terahash per second just for signing up, but you can't withdraw your Bitcoin unless you make a purchase. And I made a video explaining my game plan that I was just going to wait a while, see if the website stays up with the free options, and then when I get enough Bitcoin to cover my cost, I would buy the miner and make a withdrawal right then. Well, with how the referral system works, if somebody buys a miner, you get 10% of what they paid for that. And I had enough to buy a $35 miner just with my referral earnings. And you can see with that $35 miner, I'm now making 1,360 Satoshis a day, which is about $1.50 at Bitcoin's current price. But from what I've heard, when you do buy a miner, you only get 2 withdrawals. So my plan is to get to around 40,000 Satoshis, which will happen pretty soon, within the next couple of days. And I'll make a withdrawal video to make sure everything is legit, at least so far. The problem I have with this is you can see I'm getting 18 terahash per second and 1360 Satoshis per day. But with real Bitcoin ASICs, I would be receiving less than 900 Satoshis a day, and that's without any maintenance or electricity fees. So with that math and no proof of them having real ASICs, it's hard to trust this long term. But because it does have the free option, I think it's worth trying out, save up some sats, and if it's still withdrawing up to that point, maybe you can buy a miner that you already have covered, withdrawal, and it won't be a risk at that point. So for the investment options, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Usually these apps that are too good to be true don't last very long, but this has been around for at least a few months at this point, has been paying out. So I'd like to give it an average rating so far. I still think it's very risky and I wouldn't put a lot, but so far so good. Now the free options I'm going to give a 6 out of 10 just because you don't have to do anything. Now you do have to purchase something to get that out, but if you go with the game plan I went with, I don't see how this is a bad free option at all. And with the withdrawal restrictions that I pointed out earlier, I'm giving that a 3 out of 10. I think it's pretty self-explanatory at this point. Now with this just being a website, anybody can get to it. I give it a 10 out of 10 accessibility. It's not on any Google Play or Apple App Store, but it's easy to just load up a web browser and log into the website. And as far as trust goes, I went with a 5 out of 10. And I'm rating it a little bit higher because of the free options. If there's no risk involved, I can trust you a little bit more. And if it goes away and you didn't invest anything, then there was no problem in my opinion. And clearly with the math I laid out before, you know that there's no real ASICs, there's just no way. So I'm going to put Surfmine in the C tier for now. We need to build up some more trust. This could easily go up higher or lower depending on what happens, or it could just go away and it won't be in the next tier list video. Hashup is a free crypto faucet that allows you to click a button every 3 hours and gain some permanent hash that you can use on some coins. Some have higher withdrawal rates and some have really low ones. And when this app first came out, it offered investment options up to 270%, which I didn't think was realistic. But they've updated this app a few times, lowered the APR to a more realistic 100-ish, which is still pretty high. But it makes me feel like this app or website should be around for a while. And honestly, I recommend this to anybody who wants some free crypto. It's so easy to go into the faucet, click the button, and it's yours forever. As far as investment options go, it does seem decent. I don't think this is going anywhere anytime soon, but with a website like this, you can never fully trust it, but we always have that crypto faucet, right? We can always just use that and slowly gain our pool. And that's why I gave the free options 10 out of 10. I think it's kind of fun. If you watch my channel, I do like math. So I just like watching the number go up. Doesn't cost me anything, doesn't take much time. And with the withdrawals being legitimate, it has been fun. And I'm giving the withdrawals an 8 out of 10. In the very beginning, sometimes I think they would run out of their wallet for the particular crypto coin they had, but people would go into their chat and they would eventually fix it. And since those beginning times, I haven't heard any problems with anybody withdrawing at any point. And really the only thing keeping this from being a 10 out of 10 for withdrawals is there is a fee for certain coins. Some have more than others, but like Ethereum, you can send to the base network for virtually no fee. And as far as accessibility goes, I know it's a website, but I have seen that some people haven't been able to sign up for it for certain countries. Otherwise, I would give it a higher rating. It's also not on Google Play or the Apple App Store. And I am giving them a 6 out of 10 for trust. They do have a pretty good support system. They get back to people. The website has gone down a few times, but that's mostly due to server updates. It's always come back and withdrawals have been legitimate. But it is safe to say that these aren't using real ASICs, and most of the coins you can mine aren't Bitcoin anyway, which is where the ASICs come from. Now, I do wish they had a logo besides just this text, but I'm going to put this in the B tier. This is as good as it gets for free options. It doesn't take much time, and it's no investment and no risk. BTCCoin is the green clone of the Bitcoin mining app. It has better deals, offers promotions, has no offset ads, and while pretty much every update for the blue Bitcoin mining app has been negative, almost every update for BTCCoin has been positive. You receive 34.5 sats per day for every terahash that you have, compared to 51.8 for the Bitcoin mining app. But this offers a buy one get one deal, so the APRs are quite a bit higher. I can't tell you how long the positive updates will last, but I've had this app for a while at this point, and so far so good. And I'm giving the investment options a 6 out of 10. Now, I don't think this is hooked up to ASICs as you can see in the ratings, but this has been around long enough to have built around some trust, and I don't think this is going to be a scam at this point. Now, the free options on the other hand are pretty poor. It might be better with the super ad miner, but you're also committing yourself to watching tens of ads a day, which just takes up a lot of time and isn't worth it in my opinion. And when you watch 10 regular ads, it's only going to give you about 1.9 sats per day. Really not very good. That said, the withdrawals are really good. It has a maximum of 4,500 sats a day, and you can only do it once per day. But otherwise, there's no fees and no restrictions. Go straight to your Lightning wallet. Like I said, Coinbase, Speed, ZBD, etc., etc. And I gave it a 4 or 10 for accessibility just because it's only on the Google Play Store. And as far as trust goes, I'm giving it an above average rating just because the updates have been positive so far. There's nothing that's come out that's hindered us whatsoever. So I think it's been pretty trustworthy. But at the end of the day, these apps change all the time, and I don't think you can get much higher than 6 out of 10 with an app that is not running actual A6 Bitcoin miners. So with that said, I think BTC Coin is a solid B tier app. Bitcoin mining crypto miner is a worse version of BitTycoon with a better withdrawal system. They have this thing called a loyalty system where if you watch ads and you log into it day to day, it gives you a multiplier. But the ads just pay so little that even with this multiplier loyalty boost, I don't think it's worth your time. And as far as investment options go, you're going to receive about 5% of your total return on investment. Pretty much a scam as far as that goes. Now, if you're just looking for another app to watch some ads to get some free sats, this could be an option for you. And it's possible that with the loyalty boost, it could be better than some other apps. And with the withdrawal fee of only 5 sats, it's obviously a lot better than BitTycoon when it comes to that. So I don't personally use this, but I know enough people that do that I figure it's worth showing off. So like I said before, the investment options are 1 out of 10, the free options are 2 out of 10, and I explained it earlier, it's just not really paying out that much. But I did give the withdrawals a 10, probably could have been a 9 because there is the 5 sat fee, which is pretty negligible. But it does withdraw legitimately, and I've had no problems from what I've heard. Now, as far as accessibility, it's only on the Google Play Store, and I've heard that some countries can't load it up, so I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. It's pretty easy to get on Google Play, but a lot of people aren't going to be able to use it. And as far as trust, I can trust it to not pay me out very much. Maybe somebody can prove me wrong, but I know that the investment options just aren't worth it. And if you're going to give somebody that bad of a deal, it's really hard to trust you. So with that said, Bitcoin mining crypto miner is in the D tier in my opinion. Bitcoin Cash Giveaway and Litecoin Giveaway are a really low tier app as far as payout, but it's just so easy to use. You can see I click spin prizes right here, that I end up using it just once or twice a day to pick up some free crypto. It does automatic withdrawals to your Coinbase wallet, and you don't have to touch it once you have your info in there. But the problem is it doesn't go much farther than that. There's no investment options. Oh, look, I got a bonus. There's no investment options. Oh, wow, I got the super bonus. Might as well keep it rolling. So there's no ads, and there are some games you can play to earn some other Litoshis and etc, etc. But in my opinion, it's not worth it. But it's still a fun little app to have. You know, it's not for everybody, but I like it. Gave it a 4 out of 10 just because it is a really low payout. Sometimes you can get lucky and get something decent, but it's better than nothing. And the withdrawals are seamless. I haven't had a problem, so I'm giving that a 10 out of 10. But because this is only for Android on the Google Play Store, I'm only going to give it a 4 out of 10 for accessibility. But as far as trusting it, I don't see what there's not to trust. There's no investment. It's just some free crypto. And obviously, it's not running real Bitcoin ASICs. And as much as I like this app, it really is a D tier app. For CT Pool, the biggest problem with this app is your miner will just randomly turn off. I did do the free trial, and I don't remember getting 181 sats, but that's what I have. And I just remember going in and it would be off. And I've been told by people who actually do use this app, if you have multiple contracts, you can avoid that. But that seems like such a hassle. These miners don't last forever, and I just think there are better options. But with that said, people in my community say they have profited off of this, which is a lot more than you can say for a lot of other apps. But you're going to have to be on top of going in and making sure your miner is active, which I think is pretty annoying. So I gave it a 5 out of 10 for investment options. I don't have the actual experience with it, but the fact that you can profit off it makes it at least average. And for free options, I'm giving it a 2 out of 10. It does give you the free trial, but that's as far as it goes for free options, so can't go much higher than a 2 in my opinion. Now, as far as withdrawals, I haven't heard any problems as long as you have an NC wallet. I don't have one of those personally, so I can't give it more than a 5 out of 10, but I also haven't heard any major complaints. And as far as accessibility, you can get this on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store, so I consider that a 10 out of 10. But as far as trust go, it has been around for a while, which does give me the 5 out of 10, but the fact that they don't tell you this, the miner's going to just shut off, I don't like that. I don't trust something like that, but if you do, then good for you. And the reason I don't think this is running real ASICs is because it gives you hash, not kilohash, gigahash, terahash. If something's giving you just hash rate, you're not actually going to be gaining Bitcoin. It's just so meager. But the fact that this will pay out and give you a profit, I don't think I can put it any lower than a C tier, but because of the complications, I think you're pretty much capped at that. Wheel of Gold is an interesting faucet that allows you to gain crypto with no investment. Now, you're not going to gain a ton of crypto with every click, but with so many crypto coins to choose from, the fact that you can gain some every minute and there's no investment makes this absolutely worth it for some people. You do have to sign up for a Faucet Pay account, which I will link in the description, but if you want some free crypto, you can do a lot worse than Wheel of Gold. They have a really good support team on Telegram, and I've never seen them have a problem paying out. So because there's no investment options, obviously that's a 0 out of 10. But I gave it a 6 out of 10 for free options, just because there's so many to choose from, and it goes directly to your Faucet Pay account. Which ties into my withdrawals, a 10 out of 10, there's no fees, goes directly to the account, and because it's just a website, it's not too hard to sign up and start getting some crypto right away. I give that a 10 out of 10 for accessibility. And as far as trust goes, because there's no investment, there's no risk, The support is good and it's been paying out, so I see no reason why not to give it 10 out of 10 for trust. Now obviously there aren't Bitcoin ASICs involved, but because it's no risk and you can just keep getting paid out, in my opinion, this is a B tier app. I started using Atlas Earth back in 2022, and I've been using it ever since. It's not a cloud mining app in the traditional sense, but the fact that I made over $600 over these last 3 years keeps me using it. And while they do have some investment options, I don't think they're the greatest. All of what I have here was from zero investment. The rewards differ from country to country, but once you have yourself built up, using Atlas Earth is as good as it gets for a free user. And you can buy Atlas Bucks to grow your plots and you'll gain more money that way. But there's a cap at 150, at least for me in the United States. And if I go over that, you can see where I click this boost. Right now it's at 30%, but if I was to hit 151 plots, I'd be at 20%. And there are a lot of other cool features on this app, but just watching some ads a day, getting a decent amount of money has been totally worth it to me. Which is why you see the 10 out of 10 for free options. But also withdrawals are really easy too. Once you have $5 or $10 and have it established, you've done a few withdrawals, it goes right to your bank account and it only takes a day. Right now you can see I have about almost $32 saved, and my plan is to get to $50 and show that off in a video. And the 7 out of 10 for accessibility is because it's not available in every country, but it is on the Google Play Store as well as the Apple App Store. And I see zero reason to trust it. They have an active Discord community, they seem legitimate as far as I know, and they've been paying me out for 3 years. So while Atlas Earth may not be a traditional cloud miner, I think it's close enough for this list, and it's going to be the first one that I put into my A tier. Bitcoin Cloud Miner, BTC Cloud Miner, actually started off really good. We knew the investment options were risky, but the free ads were solid. But with the new Indian gambling laws, this app creator wasn't allowed to give Bitcoin as a reward anymore. But doing the best that he can, he turned those points into the ability to get Amazon gift cards and other rewards. And while it's not giving us Bitcoin, which is what we want, it's still one of the best apps out there as far as watching ads for rewards. Unfortunately, because it doesn't give Bitcoin rewards, it's hard to really call this a Bitcoin cloud mining app, and it is capped at its potential. But still, if you want to watch some ads to get some rewards, some gift cards, you could do a lot worse than this. And when this app first came out, there were some investment options. That's why you can see I have the 1.6 terahash. I spent $10 and got that. You can't buy anything anymore, so that's why the investment options are at 0 to 10. But the free options are very solid. What happens is when you watch the ad, it'll last until noon. It used to be midnight, but with the latest update, it's now noon. And with some of the adjustments they've made, I would say if you watch your ads around noon, you watch all of them, you'll probably get around 40, 50 points a day. So we'll just go with 40 points a day to stay conservative. It takes 1,000 points to get a $10 Amazon gift card, which I have received, and I received it pretty quick. And I know that some of these gift cards can go a lot farther when you don't live in the United States. But the fact that this is an Android-only app, only on Google Play, puts the accessibility at 5 out of 10. Now, people may disagree with my 7 out of 10 rating, but I'm in pretty consistent email contact with the creator of this app, and I know this guy is trying. I can't give him a 10 out of 10, but I feel a 7 out of 10 is fair. And from the beginning, they said this was a Bitcoin mining simulator and had nothing to do with real ASICs miners. And if this app were still giving out Bitcoin, I'd probably put it in the B tier. But the fact that we're just getting Amazon gift cards, I have to put it in the C tier. Ember is my favorite free Bitcoin mining app that there is. If you get enough referrals to get 100 Satoshis an hour, you're looking at around $900 of free Bitcoin a year for just logging in and watching one ad. I like it so much, I have a weekly series where I bet $20 worth of free Bitcoin that I get from this Ember app on some NFL teams. If I win, free money. If I lose, it was free, right? The only real catch of this app is that it's only available in certain countries. But if you're in the United States or in a European country, you should be fine. And if you are available to use it, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be collecting this free money. Now, I gave it a 9 to 10 for investment options because you can see, like right here, it says buy any pack. If you buy some Bitcoin, it'll give you a bonus 35%. Pretty cool. But when you do buy these sats, you do have to gamble them before you withdraw them, so just make sure you know what you're doing. And the free options being 10 out of 10 is pretty self-explanatory. Imagine Bitcoin hits 200,000. You're looking at over $1,500 of free Bitcoin. I don't know how they do it, but they've been doing it for a while, and I really appreciate them. As far as withdrawals go, you will have to pass a KYC. It has a decent withdrawal fee, but it's nothing too daunting, less than $1. And depending on how much you withdraw, it can come to you pretty instantly, or it could take about a week. And as I mentioned before, this is very country specific. It is on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, but I think you can only give it a 5 out of 10 max. But as far as trust, I don't see what's not to trust. They have a good Discord community. They have a chat inside the app itself. Seems pretty trustworthy to me. And it's obviously not running Bitcoin ASICs. We're not investing into anything like that. But this is a really, really easy A tier. The only reason it's not in contention for S tier is because it's so country specific. Now we're getting into the real Bitcoin cloud miners. Nexora Mining, I'm incredibly biased about this app. They've only been around for about 3 months, but they've really come a long way. They run real ASICs miners. They don't mark up their terahash very much, which allows for a pretty decent APR. I've done an interview with the creator of the app, and generally I've been with them the entire way. I even had a hand in the referral code to where if you put somebody's referral code in, you'll get 15% off of your commission for life. They have an app coming out on Google Play. I'm actually showing that off right now. But when the official app comes out, they should have it connected to Google Play, which will allow you to buy with the debit card. They don't have that option right now, which I know is a barrier for some, but it is in mind. And until they get all of that going, I can't put this into S tier, but this absolutely has the potential to be the #1 cloud miner on the market. And another little cool side note is they're expanding all the time. They just actually opened up a second facility, and they're actually going to have closed caption cameras showing all their miners just to show even more transparency. So for investment options, I'm going to give them a 10 out of 10. They have a pretty good APR, and whenever there's a big slowdown, Matt usually makes it up to us. Now they don't have any free options, but I did talk to Matt at some point about having some free options as far as like maybe promoting the app, etc., etc. But I can't really speak on that too much until it happens, so I have to give it a 0 out of 10 for now. Now I give the withdrawals a 9 out of 10, and they've been really consistent. The problem is right now, they're doing it manually, meaning if you have a problem, you can send a support ticket, but because it's not automatic, it can be a little inconsistent. Say Matt's asleep or something, you're not going to get that withdrawal until he wakes up. But it's been pretty solid so far, so 9 out of 10. And as far as accessibility, this is the one I think is going to change the most when they do come out with the official app. But the fact that people can't buy any terahash with a debit card right now definitely holds them back. They're still selling fine, but this is the main complaint I hear from people. And as far as trust, Matt is my friend, and I trust him. We've had so many discussions about this. He's excited, I'm excited, and I just can't wait to see this grow even farther. And as I mentioned before, this whole thing is based on them having real ASICs miners. Very, very important to me as far as promoting something like this, as far as being able to trust it, So I'm going to put Nexora at the A tier. I don't have these in any particular order. Nexora, Atlas Earth, and Ember are all great. And last but definitely not least, we have GoMining. I've been using GoMining for close to 2 years now. I have nearly my entire investment back. And considering this is a multi-million-dollar corporation that has been around for years, this is the most trusted cloud mining platform on the market in my opinion. Their terahash is expensive compared to an app like Nexora, but compared to other mainstream investments, it still pretty much blows it out of the water. Now this app is admittedly pretty complicated, but once you get used to using it, they have this token called GoMining token, and you can use that to pay the maintenance fees and electricity fees, and it will also give you a discount on how much that costs you, and this will raise your return on investment and APR as well. There's a whole lot I can get into, but let me just say if you invest into GoMining, long term you will be happy with your investment. And for investment options, the only reason I didn't give it a 10 out of 10 is because it doesn't have really the same APR as Nexora. And the only reason is they just mark their terahash up so much. you're going to get a terahash of Nexora for between, $11 to $14. You're looking at closer to like 25 to 30 something for GoMining. Still really good at the end of the day, but just not a 10 out of 10. But unlike Nexora, they do actually have some free options. They give you a bonus miner to start it out, to check out, see how everything works. And you do see they have promos for like bonus miner tasks, raffles, go boxes, bounty programs where you can get some free GoMining token. Once you figure this out, you can actually get a decent amount. I don't think it's more than like a 3 out of 10 because it's so inconsistent, but something's better than nothing. And I'm giving them a 10 out of 10 for withdrawals. So what you do is, as long as you have 10,000 Satoshis, you can withdraw that to your Coinbase wallet. It says it'll take up to 24 hours, usually takes less than 8, but there's 0 fees and it's really easy. And as far as accessibility goes, you can find this on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store. You can buy it with all types of crypto and your debit card, Google Play, Apple Play, etc. 10 out of 10. And like I said, when I first started talking about this, they've been around for a long time. They're a multi-million-dollar company. You know their business model. They take commissions. You know they're making a ton of money. And as long as Bitcoin mining is profitable, I don't see this going away ever. So with that said, GoMining is our current S-tier app. And if you haven't used GoMining, Nexora, Atlas, Earth, Ember, definitely check these out. So you can see that in a sea of apps that are here to waste your time, there are some platforms that are absolutely worth checking out. And these reviews are shortened to make sure the video doesn't go on forever. But for the really good apps, I probably made breakdowns, so if you're interested, check out the channel. There might be a full review. See what I've done with my account, and you can make an even better determination on whether this is worth your time or not. And I do have to point out that this video was for informational purposes only, entertainment purposes. I am not a financial advisor. I just break down the stats and do my best to show this off to you. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. I hope this was informative to you all. Please leave a comment if you liked it or if you have a disagreement. I'd love to hear it. I plan to make these every 6 months or so, and we'll take the trash out as needed. All these trash apps, you won't see that in the next video, so hopefully there'll be less next time. And I appreciate you all for watching, and until next time, I'll see you up in the clouds.